Is anyone really surprised that I'm starting this video on yet another walk? Y'all know I love my walks, but it's Friday and I decided a little last minute to start this vlog for y'all this weekend because it is the end of the month and I actually haven't really properly been home for the start of a month this year. Figured it'd be a great opportunity for me to do a proper reset and share it with y'all. I actually am filming a video for short form content this week about how my resets take me about 3 to 4 days to actually complete, but for y'all on YouTube, wanted to just do a more in-depth one. After this, we have to go get ingredients for shrimp tacos tonight, hoping to either reorganize my physical TBR or my hobby cart. But we'll just see what we can get done tonight. So yeah, just wanted to bring y'all along on this little reset, my first proper monthly reset of the year. Let's just go ahead, finish this walk, and get on with the monthly reset. Super quick grocery haul for y'all. So like I said, we're making shrimp tacos. So I got some white corn tortillas, shrimp, and powder tortilla chips. The best cookies ever. I am obsessed. I got stuff to make. A little like avocado, jalapeno crema. Love cooking on Fridays. It is literally my favorite thing because it just feels like I'm working at a restaurant. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I feel like a chef. It is currently around 7:15. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get to any of my reset tasks today, but thank goodness it's the weekend, so we have the whole weekend ahead of us to knock some things off our to-do list. It is now Saturday night and honestly I have yet to start any of my reset tasks. Yesterday was too late to start after dinner, and then the same thing carried on over to today. We had workers doing the finishing touches in the basement all day today, so I spent the day at my boyfriend's house. I'm not gonna let it ruin my headspace. The type of person, if something doesn't like go perfectly the way I planned it in my head, I just don't want to do it at all, and that is not what I want to happen for my monthly reset. I figured that the best way to relax and do some resetting is through journaling. So I am in my Hobonichi cousin this year. It's my first year ever having the cousin and I am loving it so far. I'm going to do a little February review since today's the 28th and it's so set up for March. I have been obsessed with Tell Me Lies and I literally just binged the entire show this whole week and I just finished it today and I completely forgot part 2 of season 4 of Bridgerton came out on, I want to say Thursday. I have a lot of catching up to do and this is just the perfect way to end my night. So this is some cozy resetting. Honestly, the best way to take y'all on a little tour of my spread I just made. I used to bullet journal religiously. I would always do a monthly review just like this. So I copied the same format. Do 3 successes, monthly highlights, lessons, media. With my sprocket, I make a little collage and then I also make a playlist. These are just like the 3 songs that I had on repeat this year or this month. March, I wanted to draw some shamrocks and that was really hard. I'm not a really big doodler. I'm not really that great at drawing. So this was my attempt and I honestly started getting a little overwhelmed. So I just put in some stars to kind of break it up. Yay, I'm so excited about this. I love it. Good morning, happy March 1st. The good news is I did wake up early. I naturally woke up around 8:30, which honestly never happens. And the bad news is I did not organize my hobby cart or my physical TBR because I just spent the entire morning talking to my mom, and then all of a sudden it was time to get ready for hot yoga. But I'm gonna go to yoga, then we're gonna go walk, and then we're gonna come back home, lock in, have the most productive Sunday to ever exist. The bunny must move once again. Hi guys, voiceover Tony here. I wanted to include these clips of me cleaning. It's just I filled them vertically instead of horizontally, so here you go. Before we get into my March goals in the next clip, I just want to apologize for the crazy lighting changes. The sun is just going like in and out behind clouds right now. Anyways, let's just go ahead and get into these March goals. I did get around to finishing my March goals, and I also did a reflection on March 1st. So my first one is to not add any books to my physical TBR. About 60 unread books, and while I think that having unread books in your library is a good thing, I do have a bad habit of kind of just impulse buying books and then letting them collect dust on my shelf for a long time. And then I'm looking at my physical TBR, I'm like, oh my gosh, like there are some books on here that I'm dying to read. Why am I adding more? I'm gonna follow the one in, one out, that if I do end up buying a new book, whether it's a new release, then I have to go home and unhaul one. Would it be better? I wouldn't. My next goal is to read 5 books. I'm kind of in the middle of 3 or 4 books that I have been reading since January, so I just really want to finish those. And I don't really like putting a number on my reading goal because reading more isn't the same as like reading deeply. However, I do need to make sure I finish these books because I'm getting angsty and I want to move on to more of my physical TBR. I have cluttering one area in my home. I have had like decluttering and reorganizing on my to-do list every single week in the month of since January, and I'm just procrastinating on it. So that's why I'm saying one area must be decluttered. And you know, it's spring cleaning. It'll be nice to do it. I also want to journal daily in my Hobonichis. I have a Hobonichi weeks, and I call that my input journal, where I just habit track. Really, I do like my finances and daily habits, and I want to make sure I'm using that. I didn't do a great job of keeping up with that in January and February, so I want to make sure that I'm just opening both my cousin and my weeks daily. And my cousin, I have a daily journal prompt, and if y'all want a more in-depth video about my journaling ecosystem and what I do, but I have a daily prompt I do in my cousin, and sometimes I skip a day, which is fine because then I just go in and backfill them. But since I skipped so many days in February, it gets a lot harder to backfill them if I'm not making the conscious effort to journaling daily. So that is why that goal is on there. I know I can do it. Like, I love journaling. Next goal in this kind of like personal development is to reflect on Q1 and set Q2 goals. In last year, the first 6 months of the year, I set quarterly goals, and I honestly did stick to them, and I really, really, really liked that format. I watch Ali Abdal, and I will try to find the video and link it for y'all, but it really changed the way I view goals. So every quarter, I try to set one personal goal, one financial goal, and then one health goal. That worked so well for me the first half of last year. I had a lot of change going on like in Q4, and then I also in the beginning of this year had a tumultuous start to the year. So I just have not gotten around to actually setting these goals and like making sure that my daily habits are aligned with these quarterly goals. And I've just kind of been testing out different things, what works, and I feel like I have enough data on myself. on what I need to work on. So now moving on to my more like wellness related goals. As y'all know, I gave up doom scrolling for Lent. So obviously Lent doesn't end till like, I don't even know when Lent ends, y'all. Does it end on Good Friday or does it end on Easter? I'm not sure, but basically it doesn't end in March. Make sure I'm spending less than 30 minutes on socials. I have a brick that has been working so wonderfully for me, especially when I'm out of the house. I still need to work on when I'm inside of my house. I basically have it set to 4 hours that I can use my brick. And that's only if I like physically unbrick it. And sometimes I'm not even home the whole weekend. So I just can't go on social media. And honestly, it has worked wonders for my mental health. Like guys, our parents were right. It is that damn phone. Like, I used to not think social media stressed me out. And then now that I'm spending so much less time on it, I am realizing just how much it would stress me out. And my other wellness related goal that I think is wellness is no working from bed. I have set morning routine, work my morning routine, develop a morning routine as a goal in January and February, and it is just not sticking. So something has got to give, and it is my bed. I stay in bed all day working. I work from home in my like traditional 9 to 5. And sometimes there are days where I'm spending the whole workday just on my bed if I don't have meetings, and it's just not a good habit. As part of my night routine, I set up my desk for the next day. This as a goal, it just ensures that I'm getting out of my bed and starting my morning routine. I have a couple of like fitness and health related goals this month. One of them that I had initially wrote down is track calories and macros daily, but I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it's March 4th. I have not tracked my calories once. So something that I really struggle with is kind of like quantifying my goals. And I thought that maybe like saying, oh, I'm gonna do this daily, weekly, bi-weekly was gonna help. But reframing this goal is to track it 20 out of the 31 days. I feel like saying daily just really restricts me, because if I track it 20 out of 31 days, like that's still a lot. Like, you know, that's still pretty good. So I didn't want to just give up on this goal. You know, if you say things, I'm gonna do this daily, I'm gonna do this weekly, you miss it, it feels like you're failed at the goal. So I don't want to do that. Even though I haven't logged my food for the first 4 days of the month, I still have the rest of the month. I don't really have a set calorie goal, but I do have a set macro or protein goal, and that is at least 140 grams of protein a day, if not more. 140 grams is actually my minimum. I tried to eat 1 gram per, like for my body weight. And so technically I should be eating 150 grams, but sometimes 150 can be really, really hard for me to get. I don't really track my I don't really worry about my total calorie number. Maybe I should, to be honest with y'all, but right now in this moment of my life, I just want to make sure that I am tracking it most of the time. My other health goal is to go on a minimum of 4 runs. I love running. I've done a couple of half marathons. I really want to do a marathon, but something I struggle with a lot is running without a external goal. Like I have a very extrinsic motivation for running. So if I'm signed up for a race, like, oh, like I'm gonna train for that race and I'm gonna make sure I do the race. But if I'm not signed up for a race, it's really hard for me to keep up with running. And for training for a marathon, you can't just never run and do a 20-week marathon training plan and be fine. Like before you start the 20-week marathon training plan, you have to be running at least, I want to say like 10 to 20 miles weekly. So I'm trying to build that intrinsic motivation for running. And honestly, I love running, especially as the weather gets better. I want to do a race in October. So I'm hoping to just build the foundation now. So when I do start my training block in around July, I'm not going to be starting from scratch. Framing this in my mind is just by having 1 or 2 days a week where I just go run. And I think those days are going to be Thursdays and Fridays. Usually by the time Thursday and Friday hits, I don't really want to be in the gym. And my last health goal is to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night. I feel like my sleep is very inconsistent. I sometimes get 9 hours, sometimes I get 8, sometimes I get 5, and I just kind of want to track my sleep, but I want to see which days I'm getting the most early sleep in and just kind of gather some data on myself. So I think this should be gathering data on my sleeping patterns, but I just said get to 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night. I do have one goal for my social media, and that is post 3 times on YouTube and 10 times on TikTok. Don't even get me started on opening the can of worms that is me trying to edit. long story short, the only device I have that has enough storage and like is fast enough is my phone. Editing my last video on my iPad, I completely ran out of storage on my iPad. Y'all, I deleted everything and it still was not working. I film on my phone and I was like, you know what? If I film on my phone, I might as well just edit on my phone as well. I had to buy CapCut Pro for 1 month to make sure I could upload my video to the cloud and then download it on my phone. You know what? If I have CapCut Pro for the whole month, I should make sure I'm getting the most bang for my buck. And I honestly don't even use that many of the Pro features, but it's nice to at least have it to know if it is worth spending the money on it, and I don't think it is. But anyways, also I'm really loving YouTube. I'm really liking filming for YouTube. I have a lot of video ideas. I have always wanted to be a YouTuber, and now I'm like, guys, I have everything I need to be a YouTuber. I have a phone, I can edit videos. All I have to do is just post. I was on my posting grind last summer, and I feel like every single time I post on TikTok now, I get a pretty good bit of traction, but I'm not working hard enough at it. Honestly, I'm just really not working hard enough in my content creation journey. So setting these numeric goals that aren't like, make sure I film every day, make sure I edit every day, just actual like post 3 times, post 10 times, I'm hoping that helps me. So now my last category of goals are financial. I had a really rough financial start to the year. Not that anything happened, it's just I was not controlling my impulse spending enough, and I did the math for February and January, and it's just crazy. Like, there's no excuse. So I want to track my expenses weekly in my spreadsheet. In order to make sure I'm meeting that is just having 5 no spend Sundays. On TikTok, you're very familiar with my no spend Sundays, where basically every Sunday I try to do something without spending any money. And it's just a good way to get creative with how you're spending your time with yourself, with your family, and with your friends. And I really miss doing them. I feel like it makes me live my life slower. I don't really know if that makes sense. Really miss my no spend Sundays. I really miss being intentional with my spending. And I feel like just having the 1 day a week, like there's literally 5 Sundays in March. If I just don't spend any money on just those 5 days, and I'm intentional with my spending and I am tracking it, I think I'm gonna be able to reach all my financial goals this year. Tracking my expenses weekly and my no spend Sundays is what worked for me last year, so I'm just gonna go ahead and repeat it this year. That is everything for my March goals. I think a fun video that I can make at the end of the month is just going through both my Hobonichi weeks and my cousin and showing you all how I track my goals, what my daily journaling is, and actually breaking down if I reach my goals. So stay tuned. But for now, thank y'all so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed resetting with me, what I call my soft reset, because I am not the type of girl who is able to just spend a whole day cleaning and then immediately journaling. It's just not realistic for me. So anyways, I hope y'all enjoy, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.